will fire rain down from heaven on your city as it did on Sodom? Would God take you by the hand and pull you out? Or would you stand frozen in the ashes, turning into a pillar of salt because you still cling to your sinful life? It was a scorching noon on the plains of Mamre. Abraham was sitting at the entrance of his tent. He was old, his hair already white, but his heart was still burning with hope in the promise God had given him about a son. In the heavy heat of the desert, he suddenly saw 3 strange men approaching from afar. Without hesitation, he jumped to his feet, ran to meet them, and bowed low to the ground. "My Lord, if I have found favor in your eyes, please do not pass your servant by." He hurried to have his servants bring water to wash their feet. He told Sarah to knead flour and bake fresh bread. He chose the best young calf and had it prepared. The smell of warm bread and roasted meat filled the air. While the guests ate, Abraham did not dare sit at the table. He stood under the tree like a servant, watching them with deep reverence. These 3 visitors were not just strangers. It was God himself coming to visit his tent. After the meal, one of them said,
"About this time next year, your wife Sarah will have a son."
The joy of that promise had not yet settled into Abraham's heart when he heard something else. It fell on him like a heavy stone.
The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great. Their sin is so grievous. I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If it is, I will destroy them.
Abraham was shocked. Down there in that rich valley, his nephew Lot was living. And what if there were still righteous people hidden among all that evil? Despite his fear, Abraham stepped closer to God. His voice trembled, but his courage did not.
Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it?
God answered,
If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake.
But Abraham's heart was still not at peace. He knew he was only dust and ashes, yet he still dared to keep pleading.
What if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50? Will you destroy the whole city because of 5 people?
God said,
If I find 45 there, I will not destroy it.
Abraham continued,
What if only 40 are found there? For the sake of 40, I will not do it.
The conversation went on like the heartbeat of a father begging for his children. 30, 20, then 10. Each time God answered,
For the sake of that number, I will not destroy it.
When there was nothing left to say, Abraham fell silent. He watched as the presence of God moved away. His heart was still restless. He did not yet know that very night, the cry rising from Sodom would finally be answered. Evening came over the valley. The sun sank red behind the hills. Its last light spread a golden glow over the roofs and walls of Sodom. The people of the city were still busy. The market was loud. Banquets were full. Music, laughter, and shouting blended with curses and mockery. No one knew they were standing on the very edge of the last line. 2 angels, appearing as travelers, walked through the city gate, their clothes covered in dust. Lot was sitting at the gate. He immediately saw that they were strangers. He rose at once, bowed, and said,
My lords, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night there.
Then, early in the morning, you can go on your way. The 2 angels answered,
No, we will spend the night in the square.
Lot shuddered. He knew too well how corrupt Sodom was. A night in the public square could mean shameful death for any stranger. He insisted until they agreed to come. At home, Lot told his wife and 2 daughters to prepare a meal. They baked bread without yeast and served the best food they had. The family sat together with their guests. Outside, the city still pulsed with wild laughter and noise. When they were about to lie down, the sound of voices rose from far away. At first, it was a few people talking and laughing. Then it grew into a crowd shouting. Soon, Lot's house was surrounded. From boys to old men, the men of Sodom came and encircled the house. They beat on the door and shouted, Lot, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can know them. This was not a polite request. It was the roar of wild beasts, hungry to humiliate the strangers. Lot was terrified. He stepped outside and shut the door firmly behind him. He stretched out his hands like a shield in front of the door.
My brothers, please do not do this wicked thing. They are my guests. I have a duty to protect them. I have 2 daughters who have never been with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you please with them. But do not touch these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof.
His words were desperate and broken. Lot was full of weakness and fear. Yet in the middle of that rotten city, he was still trying to hold on to a small piece of conscience. The crowd roared, "Get out of our way! This foreigner came here as a stranger, and now he wants to judge us. We will treat you worse than them." They rushed forward and began to push Lot, trying to break down the door. Suddenly, the 2 angels reached out from inside. They grabbed Lot, pulled him back into the house, and slammed the door shut. Then a mysterious power went out from them. The whole crowd outside was struck with blindness. They stumbled around, crashing into each other and groping for the door. They swore and shouted but could not find it. Inside, the angels turned to Lot. Their voices were firm and urgent.
Do you have anyone else here? Sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here. We are going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it.
Lot rushed out. He ran to the houses of his sons-in-law. The men pledged to marry his daughters. Out of breath, he said,
Hurry and get out of this place. The Lord is about to destroy the city.
But they laughed in his face. They thought he was joking. In their eyes, Sodom was still bright with lights and full of wine and music. How could it collapse just because God is angry? At dawn, when the mist still lay over the rooftops, the angels urged Lot again.
Hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished.
Lot still hesitated. His eyes wandered over the house that held so many memories. He thought of the things he had worked so hard to collect. Those small attachments almost cost him his life. Because the Lord had mercy on them, the angels took hold of Lot's hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters. They led them safely out of the city and brought them to the edge of the valley. One of them said,
Run for your lives. Do not look back. Do not stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away.
Lot panted, looking at the distant hills rising far away. His heart shook with fear.
My lord, please do not be angry. I am afraid I will not make it to the mountains. Disaster may overtake me, and I will die. Look, there is a small town near enough to run to. Let me flee to it. It is only a little one. Then my life will be spared.
The angel replied,
Very well, I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but hurry. Flee there, because I cannot do anything until you reach it.
That small town was called Zoar, which means little. It was like a tiny echo of mercy in the middle of judgment. Just as Lot entered Zoar, the sun rose fully over the land. Its bright light spread across the whole plain. At that very moment, God poured out his judgment. From heaven, the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah. Houses, palaces, squares, vineyards, and fields were all swallowed by fire. Screams of terror echoed everywhere. The ground shook, walls split and fell. Everything human pride had built became as fragile as paper. Thick black smoke rose into the sky. It swirled upward like a huge column and cast a shadow of death over the entire valley. The towns around them, the people who lived there, and even the trees of the land were caught in the destruction. Lot and his daughters ran. Their hearts pounded. The warning of the angel rang in their ears.
Do not look back.
It was more than a rule about turning your head. It was a call to tear yourself away from a sinful past and from deadly, seductive attachments. But Lot's wife could not do it. Her heart was still tied to her house, her belongings, and the glittering parties of Sodom. She stopped for a moment. She turned her head toward the city. The fire painted the horizon red. In an instant, her body hardened. She became a pillar of salt, standing alone on the plain, silent, frozen forever, facing the city that was no more. Far away, Abraham rose early in the morning. He went back to the place where he had stood before the Lord the day before. From there he looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain. He saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a great furnace. He must have known that Sodom and Gomorrah were gone. But in the middle of that sea of ashes, God had remembered Abraham's plea. He had rescued Lot out of the disaster. The story ends in the silence of dust and ashes, but its echo never stops. A proud city, a backward glance, a God who is both merciful and just. Sodom and Gomorrah are not only names from the past, they are a mirror for every age. Wherever people treat sin as normal, wherever they mock what is holy, wherever they trample the weak, that place is planting the seeds of its own destruction. And anyone who dares to leave their own sinful city to follow the word of God will always have a hand reaching out to pull them from the fire, just like Lot long ago. If the story of Sodom and Gomorrah makes you stop and look honestly at yourself, do not let it end here. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Help this wake-up call from God spread to many more people.